All right. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome to another exciting episode of D&D Deep Dive, the show where we dive deep into classes, subclasses, and other features of 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons to help you get the most out of your choices. So, today, we are continuing down the path of the Barbarian. We are going to cover the second Barbarian subclass in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, the Path of Wild Magic. Very brief reminder of how class design works in 5th edition. Every class should play very differently right from the beginning. Each class is going to have these things that make them play differently. We call them defining features. They should show up within the first two level. The Barbarian's defining features is really the Rage. Rage gives them additional damage. It gives them damage resistance. And in general, will give them more things as they level up. But the Rage is the Barbarian mechanic. They also get other things like unarmored defense and extra movement speed and things like that. But Rage really is the Barbarian defining feature. So most of the subclasses are going to do something with that Rage. And this new one, the Path of Wild Magic, is no exception to that. So let's jump into the Path of Wild Magic. So for first things first, the entire idea behind the Wild Magic of Barbarian is they basically get kind of infected with wild magic. If you're familiar with the term, or it sounds familiar to you, that's because in the PHB, one of the two sorcerer subclasses was Wild Mage. Wild Magic has been something that has been connected with sorcerers since, I believe, since like second edition when they were first introduced pretty late in second edition. Wild Magic, I believe, was a kit for them. So yeah, having a barbarian have a sorcerer subclass is kind of weird. Barbarians are not known for their magical abilities, but let's see where it goes. At the third level, you get to the two abilities. The first ability is called Magic Awareness. As an action, you can open up your awareness to the presence of concentrated magic. Till the end of your next turn, you know the location of any spell or magic item within 60 feet of you that isn't behind to the total cover. When you sense a spell, you learn what school of magic it belongs to. And you can use this feature a number of times. You get your proficiency bonus, get them all back on a long rest. So this sort is weird. It's basically a kind of a poor version of detect magic, kind of. I mean, I don't see a whole lot of use for it from a barbarian. I guess from a role playing perspective, having a barbarian be able to sniff out magic items kind of sounds cool. But it specifically says things that aren't behind to the total cover. So if something is even just covered under a blanket or something like that, that theoretically counts as the total cover. Or if it's inside a chest or something, they're not going to be able to see it. Total cover just means it is completely obscured from you. So it's not like they can sniff out hidden magic items. For the most part, it'll kind of be useful to identify spells that are cast against him. But beyond that, like I just don't really see a usefulness to it. Luckily, that is not the only thing you get at the third level. The other thing you get at the third level is Wild Surge. which is basically whenever you rage, you have to roll on this wild magic to the table. And if any of the effects require a saving throw, the DC is 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your Constitution modifier. So this is a Constitution-based spell save, which is kind of useful and unique. First things first, I like the wild magic to the table for the sorcerer. It's really interesting. It adds this randomness to the wild magic sorcerer and is a lot of fun. The wild magic to the table for the barbarian is very, very different. First, the most notable for the thing, and I'll go through them really quick. First one, each creature of your choice you can see within 30 feet must make a con save or take a d12 of necrotic damage, and you get a d12 of 10 hit points. Second one, you teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space you can see, and until your rage ends, you can use that effect again on each of your turns as a bonus action. Third, a spirit, which looks like a flump for a pixie, appears within 5 feet of a creature of your choice you can see within the 30 feet, and then at the end of the turn, it explodes, doing a d6 of a force damage. And until the rage ends, you can do that again as a bonus action. Fourth, until your rage ends, one of your weapons that you're holding gains the light and the throne properties, with a range of 60 feet, and if it leaves your hand, it returns to your hand at the end of the current turn. Fifth, whenever a creature hits you with an attack roll before your rage ends, the creature takes a d6 of force damage. 6, until the rage ends, you are surrounded by protective lights that give you a +1 bonus to AC, and any allies within 10 feet of you also get the +1 bonus. 7, flowers and vines temporarily grow around you. Until rage ends, ground within 15 feet of you is difficult terrain for your enemies. And then 8, a bolt of light shoots from your chest. Another creature of your choice you can see within the 30 feet must succeed on a con saving throw or take a d6 of radiant damage and be blinded until the start of your next turn. And until rage ends, you can use this effect again on each one of your turns as a bonus action. So, one of the really big defining features of the wild magic to the table is somewhere between a quarter to a third of the effects on the wild magic table for sorcerers are negative. They're things like you cast Fireball centered on yourself, or you cast the Confusion spell centered on yourself. Another quarter of the table are I don't want to say you're useless, but they have no mechanical benefit. Your skin turns blue. Feathers sprout from you. Things like that. And then the remaining can be considered beneficial. So only about a third-ish of the benefits or the rolls on the Sorcerer Wild Magic to the table are beneficial. And a lot of them are kind of minor beneficial, and all of them end relatively quickly. There are ones that last for a little while, but for the most part, a lot of them are kind of one and done things. The Barbarian Wild Magic to the table, which there's a phrase I never thought I said. First things first, everything is good. Everything is not just good. Everything is really good. Like the first one, each creature of your choice that you can see within the 30 feet has to make a con save or take a d12 and necrotic damage, and you get to 10 hit points. The second one, you get a bonus action 30-foot teleport for a hypermobile class like the Barbarian. That is super, super useful because now your speed has turned into a maximum of 60 feet per turn to a maximum of 90 feet per turn because you can bonus action. I think like 3/4 of these have bonus action to the things that you can do. So this just gives you tons of bonus actions to use for a class that doesn't really need them. Most of them give you additional damage, which again the Barbarian doesn't particularly need extra damage. They already do a lot of damage. And yeah, there is literally no downside to the wild magic table. Now, part of that is this isn't really a choice as a wild magic as a sorcerer. Depending on how you play the class, you can avoid rolling on the wild magic table whenever you can't really afford having a bad effect to hit you. Whereas with the barbarians, every time they rage, which is that's the barbarian the thing. So I can understand maybe not wanting to have too many negative aspects to it because it's just not his thing. But this just seems like overkill. It turns the rage mechanic into an incredibly a significantly more powerful version than any other barbarian because they're getting extra damage. They're getting things like teleports. They're being able to do things like to take their maul and throw it. I mean that's insane. To say the least. Interesting thing about the one that gives you the throne property is it also gives you the light property. So theoretically, if you're a barbarian using like a great axe and you get that, you can hold that. Or no, it's two-handed. It still is a two-handed property. As I say, you can dual wield a great axe and a light weapon, but no, it still has a two-handed property. So, I mean, this whole thing. Again, it's this idea of choice versus the illusion of choice. In this particular instance, this wild magic thing just makes your rage a ton better. There really is no downside. There's really no choice here. Compared to the Path of the Beast barbarian, you are always going to be doing more damage than him to more people, no matter what you get here. So not really fond of that. I kind of like the idea of a wild magic barbarian, but even that just seems really weird because again, barbarians are not known for their magical abilities. So yeah. Let's move up to 6th level. At 6th level, you get Bolstering Magic. As an action, you can touch one creature, which can be your self, and confer one of the following benefits of your choice to that creature. 1, for 10 minutes, the creature can roll a d3 whenever making an attack roll or ability check, and add the number to the d20 roll. 2, roll a d3. The creature regains one expended spell slot, the level of which equals the number rolled or lower the creature's choice. And once a creature receives this benefit, the creature can't receive it again until you do a long rest. You can use this action a number of times. You get your proficiency bonus, get it all back on a long rest. This doesn't make sense at all. Again, the Barbarian is kind of defined by its rage mechanic. And the kind of tenets of the Barbarian is they do a lot of damage and they take a lot of damage. That's what Barbarians do. I don't know why they're giving them the ability to buff their allies. That doesn't fit the Barbarian at all. Maybe buffing themselves. The other thing I'm not particularly fond about is they have you rolling a D3. D3 is a die that doesn't exist. technically, I believe if you were to make a long die that had 3 sides, you could theoretically roll a D3, but nobody has a D3. The only way you're going to be able to do this is roll a D6, and 1 and 2 equals a 1, 2 to 3 equals a 2, or 1 to 2 equals a 1, 3 to 4 equals a 2, 5 to 6 equals a 3. So I don't know why they decided to use a D3. That just seems really bizarre because you can't roll a D3, and it's significantly more simple. Take a D6, roll it, divide the number by 2, and then round up, and that's what they get to do. Like that, I don't understand that. And then the ability for the Barbarian to give spell slots back. Again, none of this fits the Barbarian, and because it's an action, it's actively taking away what a Barbarian is supposed to be doing, which is using its attack action. So now you, again, have a choice, but it's an illusion of choice. If you use this Bolstering Magic ever in combats, in general, you're hurting yourself because you're going to have a significantly better shot at being impactful in the battle if you use your attack action rather than touching someone and giving them maximum a +3 on a D20 roll, which really isn't that much. That is less useful than advantage, which a Barbarian can already grant himself on his attack rolls using reckless attack. So, like, this whole thing just doesn't make sense. Like, it feels like they're really, really hard. They're really trying hard to just force this magic barbarian into existence, and it doesn't fit at all. Like, this is actively fighting against the barbarian's basic abilities. Yeah. Let's go to 10th level. You get unstable backlash. Immediately after you take damage or fail a saving throw while raging, you can use your reaction to roll on the wild magic table and immediately produce the effect rolled. This effect replaces your current wild magic effect. This effectively means if you get a wild magic effect that wasn't useful, or something like the first one is a one and done thing. With this, it now becomes anytime you get hits or fail a saving throw, you get to reactivate it, possibly. You don't get to choose. You still have to roll. But there really isn't a downside to rolling this literally every time you get hit. And again, barbarians are built to take damage. They're built to get hit. So this... I mean, the only downside to it is it does use your reaction, but barbarians don't have a ton of reaction-based abilities. They basically will generally only use their reaction to make opportunity attacks, and you just don't do that very often in 5th edition D&D. Or at least not as often as you would be using this. Yeah, this just makes an already overpowered ability even more overpowered, because now you can continually reactivate it over and over and over again. Finally, for 14th level, you get Controlled Surge, which is whenever you roll on the Wild Magic table, you can roll the die twice and choose which of the two effects to unleash. If you roll the same number on both dice, you can ignore the number and choose any effect on the table. This straight up breaks the class, because now you will almost always get the effect that you want within a few rounds of raging. So you theoretically could build your character around being like a maul throwing barbarian by using the number 4. The likelihood of rolling the number you want on either one of them increases to about 1 in 4. Then when you also add in the fact that doubles gives you whatever choice you want, and doubles are going to happen about once every 16 rolls. You're really never rolling something that you don't want, and again, there's really not a bad thing to roll in this. They are all really good. They're just constantly good, and yeah, it's just it's final thoughts on this. I really don't like the Wild Magic Barbarian. It doesn't fit with the theme of the Barbarian. The little paragraph where they kind of describe what it is seems kind of pigeonholed. It just feels like they were really trying to kind of force this in to have this magic based barbarian that just doesn't fit. Like it's not. Yeah. The Wild Magic table needs to be larger for first of all, and it needs to have negative or neutral effects, just like the Wild Magic table for sorcerers. That's what makes the Wild Magic sorcerers so fun. If 100% of the Wild Magic rolls were good and were always beneficial to the sorcerer, they would constantly be rolling on the table because they would never get a bad roll. And that would massively unbalance the class. Well, that's literally what they've done here. There is absolutely no benefit to not rolling literally every chance you could get. And once you get to the 10th level, basically every single turn you can roll on that table. Because the likelihood of a barbarian not either getting hit or taking damage from missing a saving throw is so low. And that's the other thing, is you don't actually have to take damage from missing the saving throw. You just have to fail a saving throw. One of your allies could cast a spell on you that you willingly lose your saving throw, or you could willingly lose a saving throw to an enemy spell just so you get another roll on the Wild Magic table to do more damage. So yeah, overall, I probably would not allow the Wild Magic Barbarian at my table without some pretty heavy modifications, because it outclasses every other barbarian with the Wild Magic table, and then the Bolstering Magic just doesn't make sense for the class. Like it's such a departure from what a barbarian does that I don't understand the purpose behind it. Yeah. So that's gonna be all for me today. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. It lets me know that you like the video. It lets YouTube know that you like the video. And if enough people tell YouTube that they like the video, sometimes YouTube will take it out of YouTube to jail and let it frolic and be free amongst the other recommended videos. In addition, hit the subscribe button. I'm putting out a ton of content right now. If you want it sent directly to your sub box, hit the subscribe button, and then also hit the notification bell. That ensures that when I do put out content at weird hours, which I am prone to do, my anxiety is not kind to me. you're never going to miss any of the stuff I put out. In the comments down below, what negative wild magic effect do you want to see the wild magic barbarian have? It doesn't have to be from the wild magic to table in the PHB. Just what would you like to see as some magical catastrophe that happens when a wild magic barbarian rages up? Let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, that's all for me today, and I will see you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye!